What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another Tottenham update in the midst of the Euro 2020 madness. I mean, what a goal from Schick today, man.
Unbelievable. I'm still getting over
goal.
that.
What a goal.
Incredible.
But we've got some Tottenham news to update you today. The first one's not really Tottenham news, but it's someone that we hold very dear to our hearts in Christian Eriksen. Obviously, we didn't bring you the news on the day, but it was a very, very scary moment on that pitch when Christian Eriksen collapsed through. I mean, he had a cardiac arrest, really, and it's just, you can't even put words to how everyone was feeling at the time, and we thought that, you know, the guy's life was going to end on a football pitch, which is absolutely devastating, and just to think about him not playing football alone is devastating enough. I mean, how does something like this happen? It's just, I mean, I'm just lost for words. I can't really speak about it, but at least we've got some quotes from Eriksen, and he says, "Thanks to everyone. I'm not giving up. I'm fine now, but I want to understand what happened. The support from the interworld was emotional for me." I mean, you expect nothing less from the football world to come together like that, don't you?
Yeah, and I think it was important that we did and give support for Eriksen in that hour where it did look awful, look really, really bad for that hour or so on Saturday, where it did look, everyone was fearing the worst, weren't they? Everyone was fearing the worst. You were there that day when Fabrice Muamba collapsed on the pitch. You were actually at the ground, and I'm sure it caused flashbacks to that.
It did actually,
and what happened on that day, and that was also a very harrowing experience. That, you know, we only found later on that night that Muamba thankfully pulled through and he was okay, and thankfully they said Eriksen pulled through actually quite quickly on the day, but he did. His heart stopped for a time, and it's so scary to think a guy at peak fitness, a professional footballer, a young professional footballer, 29 years of age, it can happen to him.
Yeah.
And if it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone.
Literally.
And that's the scariest thing about the whole situation. But thankfully, he pulled through for now, and he's okay. He might never play football again. He might never play football again, which is a tragedy considering his talent and what a player he is. But it was a harrowing day on Saturday.
Yeah.
We didn't put any content over it because I don't know, we just didn't feel it was appropriate, I guess. But we're just thankful that he's okay. We're thankful he's alive, thinking of his family and his kids and his wife, and thankfully
anyone connected to him. You know,
it was so bad. It was so scary.
The supports were ringing out over social media on the football pitch. You saw the kind of response from Romelu Lukaku shouting into the camera when he scored. Heung-min Son showing up the number 23 when he scored and saying how much he loves Christian Eriksen, Hakimi as well. And I think there are a couple of others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was just a time where the football community really did come together. And look, I just want to say, like, a massive props to Simon Kjaer on the pitch and the doctors and everyone that just, and the referee as well, Anthony Taylor. I think all of them did a stellar job in making sure life. Yeah, exactly, making sure that Christian was okay. And yes, it's a tragedy that he might never play football again, but at this time, you just got to think about the bigger picture, and things about football are really put into perspective, and you really think about, like, the bigger picture in life. And thank God he's okay, and that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
That is the main thing.
Absolutely.
But let's move on. We've got some news about Tottenham to bring to you today. Rudy Galle, Italian correspondent for Calcio Mercato and Sky Sports, he's claiming Serge Aurier is on the verge of returning to PSG for 20 million euros.
I'll tell you that.
I know.
I'll tell you that any day of the week, to be honest.
Wasn't he linked last summer for less?
For 20 million, I think he was. I think about 18 million or so. Well, I guess that is the same thing.
Wasn't it all done for Zenit for like 10, 15 million?
Something like that. I can't remember. There was a deal close, wasn't it? But I hope he's right. I don't know how reliable they are, but I hope they're absolutely right, because I think Aurier's time at Spurs is coming to an end. He's got 1 year left of his contract, and I think we were lucky to get 10, let alone 20. So I think we've done a great job if we can get that amount of money for him.
Yeah, and another one from him. He says the times are getting longer between Tottenham and Borussia Mönchengladbach for Marcus Thuram. The 30 million release clause recently expired, and Spurs should invest at least 40 to 45 million to close the deal. Talks are in progress.
Another one to tick off the list, I think.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, I think so. If you're in for him, then pay the release clause. Don't wait. It's so stupid. Like, now we have to negotiate for 40, 50 million. Now and if we're only thinking about it at 30, surely we're not even going to think about it at 40. So it makes no sense to me. And it's another one that probably, I assume, that is probably going to go. We're going to go, oh, it's too expensive, and oh, we're so unlucky. Oh, we came so close. How ambitious we were to go for him, and so unlucky. I can't be asked for it anymore. There's another one gone now. We're never in for him. It was just
especially with Mino Raiola as his agent.
It was paper talk to try and drum up in. I can't be bothered with it. It was never going to happen. It's not going to happen. It was too good to be true. Another one was too good to be true.
100%. I echo your thoughts. Let's move on. Fabrizio Romano talking about Paulo Fonseca, and he's saying Fonseca will be officially announced as Tottenham head coach this week, and Fonseca is due to sign his contract and could be announced by Wednesday.
Yeah, which is look. Let's just get this manager saga.
Manager.
Yeah, it looks like it. We all know that it looks like it's going to be Fonseca, and I think we just need to get this one over the line at this point. I'm not interested in him backing out or Spurs deciding he's not the man and then starting from square one.
Cold
again.
feet on Tuesday.
Look, I'm not saying I'm like desperate for Fonseca, and I think he's like going to be the perfect man for us. I'm just saying, let's just get him in the door now. Clearly, he's Paratici's choice. Clearly, he's a guy who could maybe potentially be a good fit. So, I'm sick of the waiting around and the rumours and who's going to be. Let's just get him through the door and welcome him in.
Yeah.
And start pulling in the same direction. The quicker we get him in, the quicker we can start thinking about next season.
Exactly. And Ali Gold followed on from that and said, Paulo Fonseca is expected to work with Spurs and Paratici to appoint a team of staff prepared for the rigours of the Premier League, with new coaches within the setup focused in particular on defensive aspects.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Because we all know Fonseca, one of his biggest weaknesses is how he sets up his defence. So that's definitely one thing he needs to improve. So I welcome that. And if he can improve his defensive side of his game, and then we all know he's a good attacking manager. So that could be good. That could be good for everyone.
Most definitely. Calcio Mercato also talking about Fonseca, and they're saying he will reportedly earn 4 to 5 million a year at Tottenham, which is like a 10 million saving on Jose Mourinho.
Well, I heard it was 2 to 3. Now it's 4 to 5.
Well,
so
next week it'll be
day.
6
exactly.
to 7.
And it's like, we had to pay him the same as Conte. Yeah. So let's see what happens with. But definitely, I'm sure we're saving money on him because he's not as established. So it makes sense.
Duncan Castles, this is an interesting one, says Tottenham were in advanced talks to appoint Julian Lopetegui before the move onto Paulo Fonseca. The club had agreed a 4 million fee with Sevilla to release him from his contract.
If that's true, that is interesting because I'm a big fan of Lopetegui. I think he's a good manager. I think he's done a great job at Seville, winning the Europa League last season. I thought it was very 2 seasons ago now. Yeah, I thought it was really impressive. So I think he's and this season as well. He was in half in a title challenge, kind of fell away right at the end. But I thought he's done a great job at Seville. So I would be definitely open to him coming. But obviously this one's now dead in the water. But if he was our choice, I wouldn't have been too unhappy with that.
What do you think it was that made the talks break down?
I reckon Lopetegui wanted a few million in transfers, and we weren't matching his ambition. And that's what I assume, because if we paid the money to release him, it means definitely it was in the works. Something must have stopped it, and I don't think it was. If we paid the money to release him, I don't think it was maybe the wage demand or anything. It must have been the fact that we didn't have any money for him to spend.
Fonseca's the only one stupid enough to take it.
Yep, at least someone has to.
La Repubblica, I'm not sure how reliable they are, but they're saying Spurs could let Moussa Sissoko leave on loan, and Napoli are trying to understand the margins of manoeuvre.
On loan?
Seen as having the right experience and giving the guarantee of immediate impact.
Does it? Jeez, I don't know if they watched him play. Don't know what kind of immediate. Yeah, he will have an immediate impact. I'm not sure quite the impact they want. I don't know why. I don't know why I would agree to a loan deal. It doesn't make much sense to me. But
I mean, getting off the wages for his last year of his contract's the only thing I can think of.
Well, no team in France willing to chuck a few million at us.
I mean, he's in the French squad. Like
exactly.
You would think that someone would like give at least 2-3 million for him.
Maybe he'll have a Euros like he did the last Euros that convinced us to pay.
Maybe.
So that if we could do that,
I'm not counting my chickens just yet.
If he can do that, maybe he convince someone else to pay.
Maybe. But I feel like the legs have gone in Moussa Sissoko. I don't think you're going to see these performances from him again. Those kind of performances
might surprise you. Newcastle fans will probably tell you the same when then you turned up at the Euros.
That's true. Look, we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. But me personally, I think it makes sense for him to leave. Even on loan, I think it makes sense because it just gets him off that wage bill for the last year of his contract. I mean, we're not going to command too much of a fee anyway from him. So let's move on. Gazzetto dello Sport says Fabio Paratici is interested in bringing in Italy and Sassuolo forward Domenico Berardi to Tottenham. And he got a little inside scoop from Italian enthusiast Louis Beneventi before.
Yeah, he said he's not going to be that great, but he said he'll be a good player, but he's not going to set the world light. He's a good Italian winger, 26 years old, goal-scoring winger forward as well. Can play up front, can play out wide. Starts for Italy. Started the first game of the Euros. Got the assist, I believe, for the first goal again with the Demiral own goal. So I wouldn't be against it. If Paratici thinks he's a good choice, I'll be happy with it. And he got 17 league goals last season, 14 the year before, so he knows where the back of the net is.
Yeah, most definitely.
And definitely a position we need, the right winger forward position.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see how this one plays out because I'm not sure how we're linked to all these players when we're starting to move on all these players without even a manager. It doesn't really make sense, but...
we'll
see.
Paratici was doing things about a week before.
Paratici's not even starting till July the 1st.
Is that right? Is that what
that's what Spurs came out and said in the confirmation.
Yeah, by the way, he confirmed. We didn't even say that. But
Paratici is confirmed as Tottenham general manager, they're calling it.
Yeah, that was on Saturday. It was actually overlooked because the whole thing with Eriksen happened just after pretty much it was confirmed. But he is actually confirmed as of Saturday, so that's good news.
It is good news. And the last one I have for you is from Nicolo Shearer saying Tottenham Hotspur have inquired about signing Juventus centre-back Merih Demiral. Obviously scored that own goal in the opener of the Euros.
It'll be a good fit for us. But no, I think he's a good player. He's a really strong centre-back, really good for Juventus. So definitely one we were linked with strongly last summer. Then we didn't really have any serious interest. But now let's hope we are serious. 'Cause I think he could be a serious player for us if we get him in.
Yeah. And lastly, let's finish off on that kind of just a shortly snippet of that Daniel Levy interview on the Spurs website.
Which I thought was quite bizarre.
Yeah, it was extremely bizarre. It was extremely bizarre because obviously this interview was orchestrated by him.
Yeah.
Because it's on the Spurs official channels. The interview is done by the Spurs interviewer.
So exactly, he knows exactly what questions he's going to be asked. He knows he's basically thinking. I don't know. I think he's probably heard the complaints that from us fans. I don't know about our channel, but fans in general. That all the statements he's put out about the Super League and whatever, and on all the statements since then, nothing's been personal. There's been no open letter to the fans, and there's always been a distance between the ownership and the fans in terms of addressing the issues a lot of the fans have. And none of it has been from a very personal aspect. It's been very corporate, very sanitized messages. So I think this is a response to that. But I think he got it totally wrong.
Again.
I think he got it totally wrong because, yes, it was his face. Yes, he was answering questions we wanted answer to. But he basically wasn't giving anything away. He was just answering questions by batting them away. He was asked questions that sounded like questions we want to be put to him, but he wasn't saying anything. He didn't give us any answers. He didn't give us any reassurances. He didn't say anything of substance. It was just basically like a politician answering questions that he didn't want to answer.
That's what he is. The funniest one was the question about Harry Kane, and he's like, I'm just as frustrated as Harry.
Yeah, I'm just as frustrated as him about the trophy. Yeah, right, of course you are. But he was talking obviously about the finances, about he said the financial consequence of buying and selling players, that's one area that if you don't get it right, it can have dire consequences. We have to be realistic as to where we are today. We're still in a pandemic. The consequences for this particular club have probably been more severe than any other club in the Premier League. Over 200 million revenue lost that we cannot recover. Our timing on opening a new stadium could not have been worse. We have the most expensive stadium in Europe, the highest level of debt of any club in Europe, but luckily for us, it's all long-term. We're in a good financial position in that sense, but we're not getting the revenues that we hoped for from our stadium, and as a consequence, we're going to have to be careful over the next coming years. We need to be prudent because our duty is to protect the club, even though obviously we want to win. So that kind of basically he's
tough years ahead. Basically,
that's what he's kind of saying. Yeah, he's kind of saying, look, there ain't going to be much over the next few years, so get ready for that. He says sustainability is clearly one of the biggest things that football clubs throughout Europe are now facing, and there are a number of clubs that are in very severe financial difficulty. We will spend, but we're a self-sustaining club. We have to be sensible. Sometimes fans, some fans think we ought to be spending, but there have been circumstances where sometimes the coach doesn't want us to spend on a particular player. As I say, is that we will make investment in this club.
Yeah, and he said there is going to be money available for some sort of transfers this summer, didn't he?
Guess from selling.
Yeah.
And he says, I often read in the media from some of our fans criticising that we don't care about the club, that we just care about money. What I would say to them is that every single penny that goes into this club, whatever this revenue source is, whether that is purely football, or whether that is third-party events like conferences or concerts, it's all going back into the team. All we want now, having spent all these years getting the infrastructure at this club, is into a fantastic position, is to invest in the team. We are taking a long-term view. We have to protect this club. We are custodians of it. Everyone on this board, we are fans. We go to the game, and when we don't win, it completely ruins our weekend. We feel the pain when we don't get the success. We also say that patience is a virtue, and that's something that we definitely need to have in football, because things can change very quickly, positively and negatively. We all know where we were 2 years ago. Are we satisfied where we are today? Absolutely not. And we want to turn it around, but we need to make sure this club is in a sound financial position in the years to come. We need that success on the pitch now. My view is that we've got unfinished business.
I mean, he says that every penny that this club makes goes back into the team.
Doesn't feel like it.
You're telling me that year that we signed no players, that we made no money that year, and that money went back in the team, yeah? £0, zero, zilch, nothing.
And when the first time we got Champions League, that first time back in 2010, we made a profit in the next window. So what did we spend? What was it? Did we get no money for getting to the Champions League? Is that what he's telling us?
Exactly. It's just.
In fact, we had to pay to get to the Champions League. That's what he's saying. Because we had to make a profit to make it back.
Oh mate, I mean the things that this guy comes up with, he just doesn't do himself any favors, does he?
I feel like he's just being a politician about it. So I feel like if he's going to be like that and come in front of the camera and talk to the fans, give us some answers, give us some specifics. Don't be all generic and be your politician self. Actually talk to the fans like a human. And I felt like he tried his best, how he thinks a human sounds like, but I don't think he did a very good job, unfortunately, for me.
Like when he was talking to Ndombele, like, oh, my teachers told me I would never amount to nothing.
So I was always a fighter. Oh, and you're a fighter too. I see it, you Tongi. I see it. Okay, Daniel.
It's just ridiculous, Daniel Levy.
But
But anyway, look, that's all we're going to say on it. Obviously, we're not buying much that what he says. It's just the same things over and over again from him. But, he always goes on about how he's a Tottenham fan and he's got many friends that are Tottenham fans and he knows how Tottenham fans think and all that. No, he doesn't. He knows how corporate Tottenham fans think, basically, and corporate people. It's nothing to do with what the fans think. He's got no sense or no idea of what the real fan base, the real core fan base, really think.
No,
he's got no idea whatsoever. But look, that's all we're going to say on it. That is your Tottenham update today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts of any of the updates we brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.